How do you know that you are being called for a certain vocation? But the even more challenging question is, how do you know if you are called for priesthood or religious life? While some begins to realize that they have a vocation to priesthood while they were young, probably started as an altar server or in another ministry in the church. But some may have begun their journey relatively late compared to others. One's vocation could have started somewhere, somehow, though it is difficult to pinpoint particularly how it all began. I was already a young professional when the calling to priesthood came to me unexpectedly and surprisingly. I have finished my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering in Mapua Institute of Technology in Metro Manila. Fortunately, I was given the opportunity to initially work in an oil refinery for 1 year after graduation. But I also explored working in microfinance and stayed there for 4 years. I was a manager before I decided to enter the seminary. I joined San Jose Seminary and did my theological studies in the Loyola School of Theology, and at the same time finished my master's degree in pastoral ministry in Ateneo de Manila University, all in Quezon City. I finished all my theological studies and most of my formation in the Philippines. But then I decided to respond to the Holy Spirit and come here in New Zealand to continue my priestly journey in God's will. In one of my recollections or retreats in the seminary, I discovered that I was inspired to answer the calling to priesthood because of a priest who likes to relate to everyone in the community, and especially to the often neglected group. I was not primarily attracted by the flashy vestments, nor with the fancy things used in the liturgy, but I was spiritually moved by a person who likes to relate to and accept others. That priest likes to talk with bystanders, both young and old, and encourage them to come to church and help at some of the activities. I do not know what his charm is then, but later I realized that his charm came from living out the image of the Good Shepherd, who likes to call, a shepherd who loves to gather. When the Lord calls us, He does not call us for a career or a job. When the Lord calls, He calls us to be with Him. He calls people to be in a relationship with Him. Vocation is a calling to a relationship. When we answer His call to be with Him, we are also called to be a person for others, treating everyone as sisters and brothers. With the many noises in the world today, it can be difficult to hear the voice of God. But every day, we are given a lot of opportunities to be more attentive to His voice. We just need to listen closely to the gentle voice of the Good Shepherd who calls us by our name, who calls us to be in a relationship with Him. I invite you to be attentive to the voice of the Good Shepherd.